Hey guys, we love getting your questions in the comments sections of these videos, and we answer as many as we can by text in the video in the comments section itself. But some of these are such great questions that we will occasionally do a video where we answer a bunch of those common questions, and this is that video. So the first question is, do you do free shipping across the entire U.S.? Almost. The lower 48 states, excluding Alaska and Hawaii. I know it's unfair, but they're a really long way away. It's really expensive. Can't really afford to do that. Is shipping to Norway free? No, unfortunately. We do ship to 90 countries, and you can calculate shipping costs by going to the website. You put an instrument in your shopping cart. You go to checkout. When you do, you can put in your address, and it will calculate shipping costs to your house. Import duties are a separate thing. You're going to have to call your local customs office about that. We don't have any control over your government. We have very little over our own. So yeah, that's the deal. You can calculate shipping costs by going to our website and starting the checkout process. And you don't have to pay. You can calculate shipping cost and then go, oh, wait, that's not what I want to do. And you can abandon it if you need to. And yeah, you're not stuck at that point. So you can do it just for information purposes only if you want to. Next question, the custom KXB 10 watt amplifier, is it compatible with piezo pickups of electric violin? We do carry it. It says it's labeled as a bass amp. It is technically a bass amp, yes. And bass amps work great for electric violins in a lot of cases. And according to the manual, it has an input impedance of 470 kilo ohms. Is that enough? I would generally say no, that 470K is not enough. We generally want to see something above a mega ohm. But we're talking about an $89 amp here. The $89 amp, like the limiting factor isn't going to be what the input impedance is. That being said, for an $89 amp, it sounds pretty good. And here's a really quick demo. All right, I'm going to go over here. This was a big question. Which multi-effects are best for violin? There is no best. We talk about that a lot. I said it all works. It's really kind of a Ford versus Chevy debate. And then they said, but which one's going to be cheaper and performance oriented? Once we enter that word cheaper, you're asking about best, and then you ask about cheaper. Those two don't generally go together. Normally, you get what you pay for, and the music business is no exception. I would say find what your budget is. Find a multi-effects that fits into that budget. Do a little bit of asking around. Find out if there's other violinists using that. And that's going to kind of tell you what you need to know in that situation. But cheapest and best, those two don't ever go together. So, yeah, sorry. Do I have any thoughts on CodaBows? I have lots of thoughts on CodaBows. My first thought is that I really, really like carbon fiber violin bows, viola bows, cello bows. Carbon fiber bows are a great value. If you're talking about inexpensive bows, which anything under about $2,000, a carbon fiber bow is going to compete very, very well with a wooden bow. For example, a $400 carbon fiber bow is probably going to be better than a $400 wood bow in almost every situation. Once we go north of $2,000, then it's a whole different calculation. I really like CodaBows. Yeah, they're you get a lot of value for the bow. They sort of work in that $400 to $1,500 range, which is kind of a nice sweet spot for performing professionals. Yeah, like CodaBows a lot. They've got a number of products that in a number of different price ranges, and of course they get better as they go up in price. But yeah, really like CodaBow a lot. Yeah, we carry those and really like them. Oh yeah, about the S9, the string 9 pedal. How is the volume tracking when it comes to sustained swells? Yeah, it was designed with the attack of a guitar in mind. And there are a couple of little things that you will discover as you're messing with an S9 pedal. I shot a quick demo video, and this is going to be a warts and all type thing. You're going to hear a couple of the little personality items that this pedal has. It sounds great. I think you can really figure out how to use it well as a player. But there are a couple of, we'll say, little quirks that you're going to have to figure out how you are going to work with those. So here we go. Yeah, it wouldn't mute out at the end. I was like trying to choke it. So yeah, you can hear that it's got a couple of little quirks. Now that is without any dry sound blended in. That is only the wet sound. So once you start blending in your dry sound, some of those little sustainy things are going to get masked a little bit. So yeah, totally a usable pedal. I probably am going to end up with one on my pedal board. It's just got a couple little quirks that you're going to have to figure out as a player how to make those work for you. So yeah. Can I explain the connection of an electric violin from the violin to the speaker? The whole signal chain. Okay. Some are using wired connections. Some are using wireless. That is true. In stage performance like that. Yeah. So I like to be wireless on stage. Other people like to be wired. A wire is going to be more reliable. And that basically, unless that cable goes bad, it's going to work all the time. Wirelesses can and do drop out from time to time. That's just the reality of wireless. I will say in 2022, in most cases, even a relatively inexpensive wireless should be fairly bulletproof in, we'll say, not challenging situations where we're not in a super high RF environment. But if you need one that is truly bulletproof, one that is in super high RF crazy environments like you're at the Super Bowl or something, you're going to be spending a lot of money, thousands of dollars to get that kind of wireless. So, and then the whole process of multi-effects pedals mixer, oh my goodness, that's a whole separate video. But yeah, just think about the signal leaving your instrument and then it physically goes from spot to spot to spot and you get to manipulate that signal as it goes. And there's 1,000 different ways to do it. So just sort of think about physically how that signal is traveling through the wire sequentially from one thing to the next. And that's going to help you figure out how to do this. Love the personalized notes you leave. Yeah, that's one of the cool things about shopping here is you will get a handwritten thank you note with your order. We actually call them love notes. So every afternoon as we're getting ready to pack up stuff, we're writing love notes and getting these things out to you. And it's part of the job that we really enjoy, actually making a personal connection with our customers. So yeah, it's a lot of fun for us too. Where's the store located? Yeah, great question. We are in Durham, North Carolina, United States. We're about 15 minutes from the Raleigh-Durham airport, and we're about 2 minutes from I-40. So if you're driving, we're really easy to find. If you're flying, it's really easy to get here. Come hang out, play all these instruments. Just do it. It's totally worth coming. Practicing with distortion will help identify intonation issues. Yeah, 100%. Say less. All I needed was an excuse to justify cranking some distortion during practice. It actually turns out you don't need a whole lot of distortion to identify intonation issues. And I've got 2 quick videos here. One with sort of light distortion and one with heavy distortion. And yeah, you can hear how both of those work with sort of messing around with intonation. Boy, that'll never get old, will it? All right. How does a skill in playing the viola transfer over to electric violin? That's a great question. Skill in playing an acoustic instrument in general translates fairly well to electric. Most of the techniques that you learn on your acoustic instrument are going to translate well to electric. I would say with the caveat being that the electric instrument is a little more sensitive to noise. You sort of bumping the strings or doing pull-offs on the strings, things that you don't really notice that you're doing on your acoustic instrument because it masks those sounds. The electric instrument is going to broadcast all those sounds. It does not know that, gee, I didn't really want to bump that string. It just hears a signal and blasts it through an amplifier. Viola players in general are able to draw a bigger tone than violinists are. They just have to get more into the string. And I would say that part may actually work a little bit against you. Electric violins tend to sound the best if you're a little more gentle with your right hand. So I would say that that would kind of be my caution to a violist who's coming to electric strings. You want to maybe be more gentle with your right hand on an electric violin than you are with your acoustic viola. And I give the same advice to violinists. You actually want to be more gentle with your right hand here than you do with an acoustic violin too. But again, yeah, viola players tend to use a little more arm. They tend to be a little heavier and to draw a bigger tone. So yeah, just be a little bit careful when you're coming over here. These things, you got to coax the tone out of them. You don't beat the tone out of them. So yeah, but most of your viola playing skill will translate great. I would love some information on how strings influence electric violin tone. Yeah, so I want to do a video on this at some point, but really the only way to do this video is to take one violin and record it with a set of dominants on it, and then take those dominants off and then put on a set of Zayek strings and then put on a set of, you know, whatever, Ava Parazzis, and go through all these different strings on that instrument. You have any idea what that video is going to cost to make? Like, it could cost $1,000 to make that video. So all I can tell you is a person who's used a lot of different strings throughout his career, they affect electric tone pretty much the same way they do acoustic tone. If you put on Avas, you're going to get this really powerful, bright, focused sound. If you put on Red Label, it's going to sound like Red Label strings. So yes, strings do affect your tone. If you're doing a lot of processing, you may be able to sort of mask a little bit of that difference with heavy processing. But if you're running a fairly clean tone on your instrument, you're going to hear pretty much the same things on your electric that you hear on your acoustic. So the bad news is, yeah, you're going to have to spend some money on strings if you want to sound good. It's just how it is. Just bought the new Boss guitar amp. Awesome. Now I'm wondering if I should take it back and get a different one that I saw. Man, so if I took back every piece of gear that I bought just because I watched a video and saw something that I might like better, I would not own any gear. Every time you buy a piece of gear, like the next day, you're going to see a video and go, oh man, I wonder if I should have bought that instead. At some point, you got to go, listen, I did my research. I bought what I bought. I'm going to be happy with this. And I'm going to make it work. Yeah. So no, and she was specifically asking about the Boss. I got to look at the Dual Cube LX. Is it going to be better than the Katana? It's going to be different than the Katana. So yeah, I think at some point it's like with cars, right? You buy a new car and the next day you're like, oh, well, I mean, there's this other car too. At some point you just got to keep the car you got and go, yeah, this is what's going to work for me. This video sold me on the NS. I'm 84 and looking forward to my first electric. That is awesome. So excited. It is never too late to start. You're 84. You're going to get your first electric. You're going to be rocking out. I'm super happy for you, and that's awesome, Phyllis. And I hope you're watching this video because I'm proud of you. That's awesome. Keep trying new things. That's what life is all about. So yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thanks for asking all these great questions. Feel free to ask more great questions. We will do our best to answer those in the comments section or make another video like this. So yeah, as always, mash that subscribe button. Check out some of the other videos we got, and we will see you guys next time.